Dear Codruta, thank you for agreeing to meet me today to record one of the video in our cost action in the series that we've created in our cost actions. And I would start by kindly asking you to give us a few details about your latest research interest related to the cost action with the main topics and the main covered in the action and with the main goals of the action.
Vasile, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It is a real pleasure to talk to you every time we meet. Related to my interest, actually, I'm now working on two directions which are pretty much linked to the cost action, in the sense that, as you know, I'm a member of the FinCrime project, which we already discussed in several of our previous meetings. FinCrime comes actually, or is the abbreviation, the acronym for Intelligent Analysis and Prediction of the Economic and Financial Crime in a cyber-dominated world, in a cyber-dominated business world, based on the idea that once with this increase of the online life, if we can call it like that, we are actually subjected to more and more cyber criminality. Okay, and the goal of this project is actually to build a platform, a machine learning platform. This is the main goal of the project, is to build a machine learning platform intended for detecting the risk level for economic and financial criminality, both at micro and macro level. This project is related to the cost action, first of all, through the methods that we are using in the data analysis process, in the estimation process. Second, it is related to the cost action because we are actually working very much on the transparency issue. So actually, the whole idea of the project came up starting with some discussions related to transparency on one hand, and to public-private relationship. So this platform for the evaluation of the risk of economic and financial criminality is actually constructed in cooperation with some of the main institutions in Romania, like the Romanian police, the Romanian National Agency of Financial Agency, economic police, and so on. So we are actually developing this platform in order to ensure transparency for the decision-making process for the institutions that are involved in all this cyber world and activities related to the cyber criminality, and to enhance public-private cooperation. Okay, this is one direction. And if you search on the internet FinCrime project, you will find all the details. Actually, this is a national funded research project because it is funded by the Romanian authority, National Authority for Research Funding. Okay. The second direction, so the second set of actions that I'm involved in related to our cost action is actually once again related to transparency, but this time transparency in terms of tax policies, in the sense that the main idea of this research is to evaluate taxpayers' perceptions, how taxpayers perceive the fiscal system, what are the factors influencing this perception. Is it influenced, I don't know, by national administrative issues? Is it influenced by individual educational level, by financial literacy, and so on? A second goal of this project is actually to create an international research team made up of members of our cost action. Once again, we are going to use artificial intelligence, machine learning. So starting from lasso techniques, which are able to rank variables in terms of their impact, towards natural language processing, sentiment analysis, and so on, in order to be able to actually evaluate from more perspectives this taxpayer's perception. And in this research, we are actually aiming to apply a questionnaire in the entire, or using the network of the entire cost action, because in the end, our intention is to also be able to emphasize some spatial characteristics, some specificities related not only to cultural, social background, but also spatial influences.
Thank you very much, Codruta, for all these details. And you've already started going into the virtual mobility grant that you are holding, which is one of the main reasons why we've decided to have this video recorded. So already started, but please give us more details. What do you hope to obtain, and what would be some of the main outputs that you expect from this mobility grant?
Okay, so first of all, I told you that we intend to benefit from the large network of the cost action, because everybody knows that we are, as far as I know, the largest cost action currently active. Okay, so we intend to benefit from this by asking our colleagues to disseminate the questionnaire in their own countries to their peers, friends, and so on, in order to have as many respondents as possible from each member country. Okay, because I already told you that one of the goals is to see if we can depict some spatial influences, some spatial effects that may appear. And the idea came from the fact that I was lately involved in several financial researches on different financial areas, starting from financial criminality, shadow economy, and ending with the insurance market, for example. And we saw that, for example, for the insurance market, you have to pay very much attention to the characteristics of each national market. If you want, for example, to evaluate voluntary health insurance, meaning the part of insurance that I want to privately contract, me as a researcher, I have to pay attention to how the national social system is. Do I have complementary health insurance? Do I have supplementary health insurance? And so on. So throughout previous research, we saw that especially in the financial sector, and specifically on different topics related to the financial field, there are many specificities given by national characteristics. So actually what I hope to depict from this virtual mobility grant and through this research, such specificities that may appear, and then go further on and come with new research ideas in order to see how we can evaluate the impact of national specificities upon these differences.
Thank you, Codruta, for all these details. And now, since you've gave us details about your lines of research and also about what the virtual mobility grant is about, I would go a little bit further and connect with your role as coordinator of the STSM in the cost action. And I would kindly ask you to give us a little bit more details about what this tool involves, about what are the plans for the future, because probably our colleagues from the network will be watching this video, and the tool might be a beautiful and interesting opportunity for them.
It is indeed, especially because you don't have all the time money at your disposal in order to travel for research. And this is especially true in Eastern Europe. We all know that we have some discrepancies in relation to the Western Europe in terms of research funding, okay? So STSMs, actually, if you allow me, I will make a global introduction related to the networking tools that we provide. So first of all, the best you know is the virtual mobility grant, which you are taking care of, okay? In respect to, let's say, physical presentation, we have two other tools, which are actually the classical networking tools of the COST, which are the STSMs, short-term scientific missions, and ITC conference grants. While for the ITC conference grants, we have this conditioning of the applicant to belong to an ITC country, and a second condition for the applicant to be a maximum an early career investigator, meaning student, PhD student, or having the PhD for no longer than 8 years, okay? The STSMs are actually intended for everybody. Everybody that does some research on the topic of our cost action can benefit from this. And what do they mean? They mean that cost through our action actually gives you a sum of money, a certain amount of money, for you to be able to travel for research purposes. Because the main objective of cost is to enhance research and to sustain research networking. Okay, so let's say that you would like to go in France. Okay, you have a research partner there. You have to pay attention to the STSM application deadlines, which, in order to be very clear, were established. They are to be found on the FinAI main page, in the sense that we've established 2 deadlines per year, one in the middle of November and one at the end of March. I'm talking about middle of November because it's now closer to us, okay? And one at the end of March, you go on the eCost platform and apply for such a mission. Once again, the only amount of money supported is the one given by the actual travel. So you have travel costs, meaning transportation costs, and a daily allowance that nowadays is can be of a maximum of 160 euros per day, meaning accommodation, food expenses, and so on. Okay, so actually these STSMs, from my perspective, are a very good tool to sustain the formation of research groups, international research groups.
Thank you, Codruta, for all these details, and I hope that you describing the STSM will encourage our colleagues to apply for this funding and
Hopefully.
use the resources. And thank you also for your time and for giving us these details about your research, the FinCrime, and also about the virtual mobility grant, so the main objectives of it. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you too for your invitation once again, and just want to add that I really hope that people will realize how they can benefit from these STSMs. Actually, from the beginning of our cost, we saw an increase in the number of applications, because just as I did now, every time I was invited to a conference, to a workshop, to a meeting, I also tried to tell people about these STSMs. And one of the very good things is that when applying, you don't necessarily have to be a member of the cost action. You have to become one if your application is accepted. But when applying, you're not really conditioned by that. The only condition is that either you are a member of a cost action, of the cost action, or you are going to a member of the cost action. Okay, so there is no very strict criteria related to these STSMs. That's why they are a very good networking tool.
Definitely, and let's hope that people seeing this video will be encouraged and decide to join and apply for the next period in March.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.